What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Wired Wednesdays. Did hear some rustling. I did unmute it. Dave is not going to be joining us this week. He has some prior engagements tonight, so it's going to be me. We might have a special guest a little bit later, but thought I would come and hang out with everyone tonight. So what is going on, everyone? Vinny Del Greco, what's up? Dom G, Turtle Tech, 10 minutes to midnight, Travelers Travels, Steven Cicero, Firehawk 92, and Mr. Hawk Crypto Mining. Crypto Craig, what's up, man? Mad Investor. Okay. I think I remember you. You're changing your name, Mad Investor. What was it? What was the other one that you had? It had 10 in it, right? Amplifier Gaming, what's going on? Not James. Automatic Beats. Triple Nickel Technologies. Oh, Mad Investor, don't say that. Dave makes the show. But the Golden Bachelor, is that what it's called now? Golden Bachelor? Where's Veteran Miner? Dave has prior engagements, King, so he is not going to be joining tonight. But I have some fun stuff here for everyone. It's not going to be bananas, or we'll talk about bananas a little bit, but Max Voltage, where were you up here? Max. I don't see a comment from you, Max. But what's up, Max? Welcome. Let's see what we got here. I did get a account on this. Has anyone heard of BitBo? They were at Nashville. What's Mike saying? Setup looks really good. You just need a little bit brighter of a light on you. Yeah, I mean, this one goes brighter, Mike. You know, I could do that. Does that look better? It hurts to look at, though, so even if it looks better, I'm gonna dim it a little. But yeah, I zoomed the camera out a bit, so now you can see the full Vistang. You see a little bit of my screen here. I think if I go full, yeah, then it shows like Discord over here. Shows it's a little bit wider, but when you have, I don't like that view. What do I do this view? Oh, that view is all right. But BitBo was at BTC Nashville, and I went over there with Frank and looked at the charts that they had, and it was really cool. So if anyone hasn't checked out BitBo, I highly recommend it. Automatic Beats likes them thick and wide. There we go, Automatic Beats. So this has like a bunch of cool charts, So I'm going to go over a couple of them because I did just get the account today and I've been messing around with it. But this has like the hash rate charts, for Bitcoin. I think that they might have some other coins, but it's mainly Bitcoin right now. Their charts, I don't like some things about the charts, and I'll go over that a little bit here. But of course, everyone's seen the hash rate and price, right? A correlation between the price. And these are wide charts, though. So when you zoom in, this is what I don't like, right? When you zoom in, it starts with 0, right? And now that I'm on the chart and I'm live, you can adjust it to exactly what I was about to say I didn't like. So we're learning tonight, guys. We're learning. Where's Aragon Strider? What does he have for AI earnings? What is it like? What is he doing? Salad or Vast, Mad Investor? But okay, so now we can mess around with the charts. So we're learning tonight, guys. Learning. This is a learning channel. TLC. This is gonna be my 600-pound life tonight, except with charts. But yeah, it kind of shows like a correlation that you can go, and you can do it this way too. Look at that. So okay, so you go a little bit further this way. Again, guys, we're learning. All right. So, but yeah, what this site basically does is, and the guy who created it, I can't remember his name, but he was there at BTC Nashville. Super cool guy. Very informative. What's cool about this too is it's not just like a chart that they throw up, right? I'm using the hash rate one because that's like the one that everyone's kind of familiar with, comparing the price with what the hash rate is. But it goes into depths of what this chart is. You know what I mean? So it says the idea behind this chart is to illustrate any correlation between the price of Bitcoin and the hash rate. And then it shows like what people that are in favor of this chart say, and then what criticisms of this chart say. So I think that's really cool. A lot of times you're just like given a chart, and sorry if I'm a little bit slow with comments. It's just me tonight, so I'm gonna try to stay up to date. But what I tend to notice, especially when you see like, you know, YouTubers that are in favor of this, or you're just on a website that shows, you know, a chart, right? It kind of just gives it to you and it says make something of this, you know what I mean? Whereas this website shows both sides of it. And I think that that's really important because it shows where the flaws might be and what flaws are most popular, right? Which is the criticisms of it, criticism of it. So let's see here. I'm just going to go over the first one with this. There's almost no correlation between price and hashing power. In fact, when one looks at the chart, one notices that while the price of Bitcoin is all over the place, hashing power is a steady line that goes almost constantly upward. So you can, I guess you could, I do see a correlation with it, right? I don't know if these things are like auto-generated or if he goes in and writes these. Maybe they update if there is a correlation. He has like some system in the background, but I do kind of see a correlation with this. You know, you can see back here during this last bull run where, you know, Bitcoin hit, what did Bitcoin hit? Is it 60, 65K, somewhere around there? It dropped down and you see the hash rate dropping. So that's a good thing about it, right? Some people may see correlations where others might not. You know what I mean? So I think that that's pretty cool. Vast Flux Chlor and Salad. He owns the damn market. Who is that? Who is this guy? Aragon Strider? What does he have? He has some cool stuff, Man Investor. I want to see it. But yeah, guys, this is kind of going to be more of like a chart Wired Wednesdays, just because I have been wanting to get a subscription to this for a while. I think it would be good for everyone to kind of, that's in the markets, to kind of see where we are, right? And so I'll put this one up just so that you guys can see where I'm coming from with it. So give me a second, because I remember it was here. Where was the cycle? No. Indicator. There's a pretty cool one here with price prediction. I'll just show you guys this one because this one's pretty neat. This one shows like what the future would look like, right? Price prediction. And it uses 4 of their models in here to kind of, and they put it all into one to show where the trend line might be, right? There's a hurricane on outside, I think. So this kind of reminds me of that, right? It's like a cone of error. But you can see, you know, especially right here, you can kind of see that it dipped below what their models are, but there is a trend line, right? I don't want to say hate, that's a strong word, right, guys? But I want to say I don't like making predictions just based on, you know, this happened before, right? You know, one time before or something like that. But when you look at a trend, especially since like 2010, you know, it's hard not to make an educated decision on something, right? I think that's a big thing. It is getting loud. Let me know if it gets too loud, guys. I can really hear the wind. What is this? Vinny Del Greco. All I need to know is M2/global liquidity and BTC price. What do you mean by that, M2? All you have to do is join any Discord about AI, and Aragon is spreading his seed everywhere. Let me look at that. I'll take a look. I'm in the Vast Discord. What does he just have, like pictures and stuff? Ron Jeremy of AI. But no, this is a price prediction chart, which I think is pretty cool. Shows where we are, you know, right at the 60,000s and where it may go. I mean, these are pretty intense estimates. And it looks like it's kind of flatlining here. And I like that it does that, right? Because it takes into account the rapid growth, and it's not just a you know, percentage chart, right? But you can see here in 2026, it kind of estimates that the low end would be 100K, which is what the rainbow chart is, which the rainbow down here is the halving price regression. The HPR is a non-linear regression curve calculated using only the Bitcoin prices on the Bitcoin halving dates. This method excludes the hype cycles to create a conservative price estimate. See, it's interesting, right? Like whenever I look at charts and I try to forecast things, it's always like, okay, well, this happened prior. It went up this percentage, so this is what it should be, right? But there's so many different data points that you can use to project what the price would be, right? Especially in a deflationary currency, because it's hard to apply normal financial models to cryptocurrency, right? Because wait, can't hear anything. Oh, Mike, you made my heart sink thinking my mic was off. Okay, you can't hear anything because it has noise canceling. Yeah, see, I guess it pays off buying the nice stuff. Per my chat last night, that is a logarithmic chart. Yes. But yeah, they have the price prediction. Which one was I going to pull up? I can't even think. My mind is everywhere today. So, future supply chart. This one was kind of interesting. You can kind of see every halving that's here, every the halving event, where it cuts down, and we are right here, obviously. But it is crazy looking at charts like this. You know, this is the first bull run that I was kind of a part of in 2017. I started in like right at the end of 2017 or 2016, and there was like 5 million Bitcoin left to mine, and now there's only 1.24 million, and it's just crazy. I know I'm not going to go in depth about it, but everyone knows here the emissions with Bitcoin and how crazy it is, right? Where did I see on here? There was one that showed, you know what, let me go to charts home. No, I don't like that. That is not what I want. Indicators. No, don't want that. Where was it? You know what, I bet it was on their front page. Yeah, it was on their front page. How do I switch this? We're learning today, guys. Learning. Here we go. There it is. Okay. Where was it? I swear I saw this. I know it's here. We'll find it. Where was it? It was like we'll find it, guys. It showed like the dates. Like it was an estimated date of when like the last 0.1% would be mined. I know I'm not going crazy. I know it was here. Anyone see it? Here we go. Future Bitcoin supply. There it is, guys. Diet Coke, love chemicals. Yeah, it's aspartame. Is that what's in here? Aspartame. Yeah, I'm sure it's good for you. It's nutrients. It's nutrient rich. Diet Coke is nutrient rich, gang. But yeah, future Bitcoin supply here. 95% supply would be, which means there would be 5% left of the total Bitcoin. Would be, what is that? March 14th, 2026. So, year and a half, kind of. Year and a half? Yeah, right around a year and a half. 1% left will be in 2035. It's 11 years from now. And then 0.1% will be 2048. And then all of them will be mined at an estimated 2140. So everyone watching this will, I hope everyone's still here, but we would all be very, very old. We would probably be ChatGPT 23, and you would just see an AI image of myself connected to a computer. I would look just like Mitch McConnell. 2140. Yeah, Frogman, it's crazy, I know. Future supply value 78.42 billion. It's crazy. But yeah, this website, again, called BitBo, they have a free one, right? So like you can go to this website and all of this stuff is free. They have free charts. I'll show you the fancy charts that I have not really looked too much into, but those charts are there too. I'll go over those. But if anyone has like if wants me to pull up something, let me know. They also have here too the mining stock prices, which I think is pretty cool. You have Bitfarmers, BitDigital, BitDeer, CleanSpark, Core Scientific. There's Core Scientific, Marathon Digital, Riot. We're all very familiar with these. The one thing they don't have here, which I don't like, is their market cap. They have total holdings here. We have total US ETF Bitcoin holdings of 915,000 Bitcoin, estimated, not estimated, at 57.81 billion US dollars. ARK Invest here. Oh, that's interesting. Bitwise, Valkyrie, Grayscale, Invesco, Wisdom Tree, Fidelity, Grayscale, Van Eck, and BlackRock. BlackRock sitting at $22.69 billion, which, why, see, I really like this website, but, oh, see, look at this. Is just like, this is a dream, guys. This is a dream website. Here, I'll show you. Look, when I click this thing, look what it brings to. Look what it brings. What is this, flashbang? I think that's what Chump says. I'm going to start saying that every time it's maybe there's a dark mode. I know Hawk likes the non-dark mode, so I'm going to leave it at that. Mad Investor, yeah, I like Diet Coke too. I used to hate it. Like, it used to be like, I keep using the word hate. I got to stop saying that, but I don't like it. But yeah, no, I started liking it more the older I got. I had Coke Zero for a little bit, but now, like, Coke Zero just tastes kind of sweet to me now. I don't know why. Probably just the chemicals, right? You know, oh, you know what? Who told me? Mining Kiing told me that Coke Zero does have like sugar in it. I guess they go under like citric acid or something. I don't know. That sounds great, right? To ingest. Oh, don't say that, Mad Investor. But I mean, hey, it's 0 calories, right? That's what's important. Coke Zero and Jack, yeah, that is a good drink. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Jack Daniels, but for some reason, like, it goes great with like Coke Zero, right? Like Jack and Coke. Like, if you have like a other bourbon or something like that, you mix it, like Makers or Bullet, it's just not. It's not the same. I think there's a lot of sugar in Jack Daniels. That's why. Interesting chart. Google root Bitcoin spiral. Vinny Del Greco, I agree. I'm going to pull that up, actually. Let me pull that up because I think I know what you're talking about. Root Bitcoin spiral. Substack. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I like this. Let me go through this real quick because I have not looked at this, but there's just so much information here, right? Like, so much information. If you could pull APIs from this or something and make your own analytics, right? But I think that's what this website does. I think you can like set alerts for certain things and everything like that. Here we go. This is what I kind of wanted to see. Bitcoin holdings by ETF. Yeah. BlackRock, Grayscale, Fidelity. Crazy. Oh, that's cool. You can see over time too, like how much they're holding. What's this? IBIT? Interesting. Here, let me pull up this spiral thing. Crown and Coke isn't bad, and your nose doesn't burn. Yeah, actually, yeah, I haven't had Crown in years. What is that? A Canadian whiskey, right? They instead of the maple tree, all the Canadians, they go and they stab a hole in a maple tree, and it's either syrup or Crown Royale. Yeah, just each. I agree, Brad Johnson. I don't condone Coke Zero or Diet Coke. But city water equals kidney stones. That's not good, Tech Man Ty. What's up, man, by the way? You just drink gallons of milk? Yeah. That's you guys remember that scene in Anchorman where he's like sweating, it's so hot in San Diego, and he's just pounding milk back? That was a good Will Ferrell movie. All right, let me switch over to this other one. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys, tonight. I know it's just kind of chilling, talking about everything, but no plan for tonight. Bitcoin spirals. Is this what you're talking about? This one, right? Milk was a bad idea. Yeah. What's up, Shark Farmer? The latest update to our platform, a refined and enhanced spiral chart. The live chart available to paid subscribers. Paid. I already subscribed. Why is this one not in my other subscription? It's like, all right, I got to send him an email. I'm like, I need more circle charts. New markers to facilitate a more intuitive understanding of Bitcoin cycle peaks, troughs, and halvings. A green line pinpointing the upcoming halving event. Okay, so this is, oh yeah, okay, October 7th, 2023. Maybe there's a new one. But I guess the idea with this is that this orange line never falls back inward on each other, right? Is that the idea behind this? Looking at it, that's how a 5-year-old would explain it. Non-crossing lines. Observe the lines weaving through the chart. They never cross, signifying Bitcoin's consistent pattern across 4-year cycles. Huh. Oh, here we go. Wait, okay, so we got green dots, blue dots, and red dots. Let's see. The all-time highs, marvel at the blue dots, almost exclusively clustered in the first quadrant, except for Bitcoin's inaugural cycle, which was understandably compact due to its absence of price data. Cycle peaks. Note the bigger blue. Okay, so we have blue dots and we have bigger blue dots. I mean, they have more colors than those. Okay. Hey, I'm not the chart expert. Note the bigger blue dots around Christmas every 4 years, marking the alignment of cycle peaks. Okay, there's the big blue dots. I see them. Oh, I should probably zoom in. Sorry, chat. I don't know if... Here, I could have done that a while ago. Here we go. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh, they have the things here. Okay. So the legend. So the blue is... I always notice that too. It's always during, like, the end of the year, right? That there's always, like, a peak. And I don't know if it's people just, like, buying more miners, which increases the hash rate, which kind of correlates with the price, right? The price usually goes up with hash rate. Well, the chart said there's no correlation, but I got eyes. But maybe it's just them at the end of the year trying to buy, I don't know, or just buy crypto. I don't know what it is. See, I know the tax code here in the US, but I don't know like the rest of the world. And that's something with Bitcoin that it's like so worldwide, right? I don't know. But Caspa's been a turd lately. Yeah, mad investor. I don't know. I'm not too informed on Caspa. I think that's the best way to put it. It's not that I'm not a fan. It's not that I dislike it. I'm not a hater. I just don't know enough about it, right? More capitalization means more time to accumulate. I love it. Oh, 10 minutes to midnight. Now that you said that, here we go. I got a good one for you. I got a good one. We're gonna go here. Where is it? Miner. Here we go. Miner capitulation. Is that how you say it? Capitulation. All right. I need to take some speech classes here. Okay, so I didn't really understand this chart. I admit I did go pretty. I went over this pretty quick. So 10 minutes to midnight. If you have any insight to this while we're chatting about it, I'll read a little bit about it because it has it explained right here. See, again, this is valuable, right? You could stare at charts all day, and if it goes up, you're like, okay, this is good. It's going up. But if you don't know why it's going up, then that's not great, right? It's good to have an understanding of this. Capitulation. Let me go. You know what? We're googling that to get a capitulation. Okay. Oh yeah. Look at this. This is capitulation. I feel like I'm a little fast tonight, but I'm a little slow tonight. So it's too hot and it's too cold. It means okay. It has multiple meanings. Great. We're off to a good start here, including the act of surrendering or giving up. Okay. So is this like equipment? You know what? Let me just read the explanation. Right. That'd be the smartest thing to do, guys. Capitulation. I think like capitalization, right? Like capitalization. Why did I say? I keep going with that. I like Hawk Tua here. Okay. Geek, you're throwing me. Geek Vulture, you're throwing me off. Capitulation. All right. This is like, this word is my worst enemy. Like, hawk. Okay. Anyways, in Bitcoin, profitability for miners is a function of the Bitcoin price and the cost for the miner. Okay, so this. It's kind of like. No, never mind. It's the cost of the miner to buy electricity to mine. When the price drops, less efficient miners are forced off the network because the Bitcoins they... Here, let me zoom in. I'm probably driving you guys nuts tonight. When the price drops, less efficient miners are forced off the network because the Bitcoins they earn are not worth the cost to mine. Okay, so old equipment, S9s, S19s, 80 terahash, I don't know. But older models, right? That's basically what it means. Many miners keep some or all of the Bitcoins they mine in order to sell them in a bull market and get maximum value for them. The thinking in a miner, here we go. Capitulation. I'm messing myself up here. Capitulation. Capital Hall. Words are hard, Mike. They're really hard tonight. Capitulation. I've actually never heard this word, I think, said out loud. You know what? Let's have YouTube read it off. Capitulation. How to speak the word. How to say. Here we go, guys. You guys hear this? Here we go. Okay. This is some rave. 38 seconds to tell me how to say this word. This is the learning channel, guys. Capitulation. Okay. See? We're learning tonight. I'm learning tonight. Capitulation. You know, I'm going to start using that word every stream now. Capitulate. I'm going to start using it in just day-to-day conversation with people. Capitulation. Emphasis on the second. So capitulation. There we go. Look at him. See? I have a support group here. I like you guys. I like everyone on this chat. Capitulation. Okay. So, thinking in a miner capitulation scenario is that as the price drops and some miners are forced off the network, they will sell these reserve Bitcoins, causing the price to drop further. Okay. In a worst case scenario, this could cause a death spiral in the price of Bitcoin as you have continuous selling pressure on the price of Bitcoin and a cascading effect wherein the lower price takes out more and more efficient mining operations until there are none left. That sounds like a kind of doom and gloom, right? Okay, capitulation. Miner capitulation. Many miners. Okay, so basically, this is saying 10 minutes to midnight, right? You're the one. I think you would do it. Oh, there's a lot of chat about the capitulation. Here, I wish. Oh, I was going to change my name on here to capitulation, but yeah, here we go. More capitulation means more time to accumulate. Interesting. So I guess the idea behind this is that, and I didn't really think of it like that either, honestly. Like I thought, just because this is what I've done, right? Like during the Ethereum run, right? The last bull run, I was selling Ethereum every day, right? Like I had it mining to Coinbase. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I did. I had it mining to Coinbase every day, and it was just easier for tax purposes, right? Mining to the wallet or mining to the exchange, don't recommend it. But I would sell every day, right, to cover my hardware. And I saw that as like a kind of like a DCAing, right? Like dollar cost averaging, except I was selling it, right? I was never selling it at the peak of Ethereum, but I was never selling it at one of the lows, like the valleys, right? So overall, I think I did pretty good, right? During that year, I sold every single day. So if you look at the price chart over 2021, you'll likely you know, I would sold at every point, right? So my average, whatever the average price of Ethereum for that year was, is kind of what my sell was, I guess you could say. So I'm surprised that people do that. I thought more people, especially larger scale, I guess, you know, the hobby miners like us, you know, I guess it makes more sense to hold it if you can. But I had a lot of GPUs on Ethereum, and I was like adamant about getting, you know, a return on the investment that I made, right? I was wanting to pay the GPUs off as quick as possible. And with the profit, I mean, the 3080s were making like $7 a day. I mean, it was crazy. So the goal was for me to do that, right? So long story short story long, I'm interested that this is like, you know, that it's more people do this than I thought, I guess you could say. I think the bigger guys like Marathon, Riot, and stuff like that, I cannot see from looking at it from like a business how they would be able to do that, right? Like you're kind of incurring all these costs and then taking a risk on when selling it. I mean, it's really hard to run a business like that. But this chart does make sense. It's a good way to look at it. Capitulation, right? Let me just read this one last sentence. In a worst case scenario, this could cause a death spiral in the price of Bitcoin as you have continuous selling pressure on the price of Bitcoin and a cascading effect wherein the lower price takes out more and more efficient mining operations until they're all. I guess that, yeah, it's like a perfect storm scenario, right? Where a worst case scenario, where people are trying to time the top, and if they see it start dipping from the top, then it's like kind of like it just people starts flooding the market with sell orders, and then because the hash rate on the network is still so high, it just makes the miners completely unprofitable. You know, we probably have seen that at every point. You know, that's what it has here. Let's see what these charts are. What is this? Here's some criticism of it. First, the death spiral has never occurred despite many historical examples of the price of Bitcoin shedding more than 50% of its value in a matter of weeks. The reason of this outcome is simple. Healthy mining operations have large funding sources that allow them to weather the hard times and continue mining. Okay. They also negotiate long-term contracts with the power companies to keep their energy prices low and predictable. Okay, agree with that. Both of these allow miners to keep their Bitcoins in reserve so they don't have to sell in a bear market just to keep their operation going. I disagree with that at scale. That's crazy to think. I don't know. What do you guys think on that? I mean, like, if you think of like Riot, you know what I mean? That has like electric bills that are millions of dollars a month, probably tens of millions of dollars a month. What they're just like, no, you know, I'm gonna wait 8 months and just eat it until then. I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. I just can't. Their, you know, P&Ls must look a little weird. Let me catch up here real quick. I'm a little bit. Now I'm stuttering trying to say it, Chris. Capitulation. I'm gonna get a shirt that says capitulation. Okay, I'm a little too far back. Let's see. Keep safe with the storm coming. Thanks, Turtle Tech. Yeah, it's kind of windy out right now. It's not bad though. I'm in like the Fort Lauderdale area, right? Like kind of Miami. I'm right between Miami and West Palm. So I know we'll probably get winds here, but I've been born and raised down here. I'm not too afraid of hurricanes. It was a great time actually. I did get a UPS recently. I didn't have a UPS for all of this, and I had some meetings with the Terra guys Monday, and my internet, or not my internet, but my power kept flickering at my house. So that was the day I got a UPS. So I got that all hooked up. I was a little cheap on that. Not surprised there. So it does blink red occasionally because this is a lot of wattage that's going through it. Is it red now? No, it's green. See, there's another $40 for the higher wattage one, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, guys. But I appreciate it, Turtle Tech. We are hunkering down. Here we go, Crypto Craig. All comes down to the cost to mint and how operational expense OpEx levels are for the big boys. Yeah, electric price, cost to mint, I agree. Maybe we could look at another chart on here. I think they had a chart on here, Craig. I'll try to get into that. Here we go. Max voltage with statisticals. I like that too. It's only a bad idea if it don't work out. Yeah, I agree, Techman. Goat. The big farms are actually fronts for cartel funnels. They give zero flux about making money. It's just an inverse pyramid scheme. Probably. I have met a lot of people in my time in crypto, and it wasn't cartels, but I'll give you guys a little bit of it. It was like 2017. Again, not cartels. I don't think it was. But there was a company that me and my buddy, who, like, when we started mining, I'm just, no, okay, sorry, that went weird. But yeah, so me and my buddy who started mining, we met a bunch of people, right? And there weren't many people in mining back then in our area. Like, there was a Bitcoin talk forum in 2016, and it was Voscoin was active at the time, and Panda was there too. It was really early on, right? But the reason I'm saying that is we just, anyone that was kind of in the industry, we met relatively easy, right? Because as soon as they knew that you were into it, it was kind of like a natural thing. Like, it wasn't overwhelming like a lot of the Discords are now, where there's like 10,000 people in there. Anyway, capitulation. We met a group who had a mining facility, right? And they would use it for families and people in other countries like Venezuela, other countries, usually South American countries, where people couldn't get, like, if they left, they couldn't send the money, right? Like, it's not like they could just walk out, of their country, go to the US and do that, or they couldn't send money to the US too, right? And so through different channels and stuff like that, probably shipments to Colombia first and then to the United States. Not saying that's what they do, but wouldn't be a bad idea if they did it that way, right? But they would buy equipment, like computer equipment, and then have it shipped here, right? And so they would import it, then export it, and then it would come to the US. And like I said, through different channels. Not sure how they did it, but long story short story long, they would buy this equipment to basically get their money out of their country, right? And then they would have the equipment here, and they would have it mining, and then they would basically have the crypto over here, which I know you can move crypto everywhere, right? But they would have all the equipment over here, and the families would be managing it here, like, as a business, right? It was kind of a way to get it all out, which was an interesting thing. I'm sure there's easier ways now, but I don't know. It was an interesting time. But yeah, they would buy the equipment in their fiat currency, have it mining over here and host it over here by another company that was probably owned by family, and then do it that way. So it was interesting. But yeah, I don't know how I got on that rant, but it's not the cartel. Goat, it was not the cartel. But I wouldn't be surprised if there is some, crypto scams going on. I know that's so weird to say crypto and scam in the same sentence. I mean, there's never been like, a giant exchange or anything that lost $12 billion and someone only went to jail for 2 months. We're not going to get into that, though. Or we can. I don't know. Let's go down. I'm going to get my tinfoil hat. But let's keep going through here. That last sentence was very important about the spiral. What was it here? Which one are you talking about? Which last sentence? 10 minutes. Crypto Craig. Mara and other large miners will sell. They have minimum PPAs to keep up in employee expenses. Those OPEX charges have to be paid. Yeah, that's always kind of what I'm thinking about, right? Because like I do like the finance and operations side for Terra, and there would never be like a month where, I mean, of course we do hosting, right? So it's a little bit different. But even if we were just mining and we had like the electric bills that we had, I wouldn't be like, you know what, guys, I'm going to hope Bitcoin is higher in 6 months. And then I'm also going to hope that we can just somehow survive and keep paying all of our operational expenses until then, right? I don't know. The big miners, I think, are selling, Craig. I agree. Was the interest reserve on debt? They get 18 to 24 month reserve. Max voltage. GPU. I collected my flux based distribution today. Now I have enough for a cumulus node. Nice, Max. I didn't know they did that. I actually just redeemed the awards. I want to say last week. But here, I'm going to keep reading these comments in a second. But we have our special guest in the back. I'm going to bring him in here. 1 second. And we have Mr. Crypto Frank. What's going on, Frank?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. Are you on the new laptop?
On a new laptop with my new headphones.
Nice.
So exciting.
So
Apple got me again.
Yeah. But no, we were going over the charts. I know we spoke earlier about this. Here, I'll throw up the screen here. Oh, I just canceled it. So we spent about 5 minutes for me to learn how to properly pronounce this word, which is capitulation.
I commented. It sounded like you were having a seizure.
Yeah. But yeah. So welcome, Frank. Wait, I remember you said there was a chart on here that you really liked, right? Was it the hash rate one?
Yeah, hash rate to Bitcoin price.
We were looking at this. Let me. Here, I'm on the right one. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Here it is.
Crypto Craig.
Uh, 0.5 basis jump. Yeah.
I told him he made the bet.
Yeah. That was a nice little cut. I did see something recently, though, that interest rates still went up since the cut, which was interesting. The 10-year, I think, went up a little bit. It'll even out. There's no inflation, right?
No.
It's just it's the government gaslighting us.
Yeah. I mean, I think no matter what we do, inflation's already happened. It's not prices, the price of bread or, hamburger buns or bananas. It's not going to go down as dramatically as it went up, in my opinion. Like inflation has already happened. Now they're just going to slow down the continued inflation.
Yeah. I think it skyrocketed, and it would have caused like mass hysteria if they actually, reacted in the way that they would, in smaller increments or smaller, decreases. So. I think there was just a giant jump, a huge, massive, what do they call it? Hyperinflation. And then now they're kind of just curbing it. But yeah, we have the chart here. It did say here, Frank, on the bottom of this, that there's no correlation with it. Or is that what it said? Oh, no, we had what was it? Correlation. Okay, no, it must have been a different one, but yeah, I remember you said a couple different things about this.
When you zoom in on this, I always thought that when it comes to the price of Bitcoin and the hash rate, that the hash rate dropped after the price of Bitcoin goes down. But he showed the person who designed this graph showed me a bunch of spots, or almost all of the graph, where it shows the hash rate drops and then the price of Bitcoin drops. I don't know if you could zoom in and really show it, but...
Wait, you said the hash rate drops and the price of Bitcoin drops?
Yeah. So it was the opposite of what I always thought it was.
Let me go here. It looks like there's a correlation with... Well, yeah, there's some instances where the hash rate will go up and the price will dip a little bit.
Well, the hash rate going down first, and then the price of Bitcoin goes down.
Yeah, maybe I'm in a... Let me
I'm not sure which one of those is hash rate. I can't really see.
Here we go. Hash rate is the orange one. Price is the green one. Here, let me do this last run. Here we go.
So like that big peak right there on the top where it hits like 70,000. So if you highlight that, I think this is one of them. But you can see that's a little bit too close. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not doing a good job.
But he showed me a lot of spots where it just showed that the price of the hash rate was dropping before the price of Bitcoin went down, and it started to make a little bit of sense, because if people are turning off, they're selling all their Bitcoin to make up for the prices.
Yeah. I get that. So like they start turning them off and they sell, and that creates sell pressure. So there's like a delayed effect.
Yeah.
So they turn off and then the price kind of goes down.
That's what I saw from the graph. Now, I'm not a graph guy, so I could easily be wrong, but that's how I read it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's instances of it. You know, it makes sense when you think about it, right? Like they're turning them off, and then why are they turning them off? Probably because they are assuming the market's going to go down, and then they're probably going to sell if they're assuming the market's going to go down, you know?
Yeah.
They kind of like what Crypto Craig was saying, to cover operational expenses. But Techman Ty, BTC 2025 tickets go up again after Friday, folks. God, it's hard to even think about BTC 2025. I feel like Nashville it did just happen. Max voltage, crypto Frank facts. If only the housing inflation would go down, still at almost 5%. Yeah, I know we talked about housing a couple times on here. I don't know. With lower interest rates, I think housing is just going to go up again. You know, I feel like there's tons of people sitting on the sidelines right now just waiting. But 10 minutes to midnight. They changed the definition of recession too. Yeah, for sure. Frogman, price of bananas. I could pull up. I should message this guy, Frank, on the chart, and he should have a little toggle for bananas on here as well.
You could ask him to make any chart. He's pretty active.
Yeah. Oh, I just typed in bananas here. Price of bananas chart. Fed. What is that? Here we go. Here we go. I think I showed this before. I'll switch back and forth between it. There we go. Price of bananas. This is kind of like a chart almost like that, where you can kind of highlight a little bit and see it. But yeah, banana prices are continuously going down. Continuously going down. Yeah, they're at pre-COVID levels.
When was that big dip down?
This was April 2024 between June of 2024. So two months. Again, it's trying to find correlations, right? And things that might not have correlations, but
maybe they found a lot of banana trees.
Yeah. People are running out of cash. Recession is imminent. Yeah, I think like the biggest indicator, in my opinion, is usually like cars. And I think that that's starting to like make a turn. You see a lot of like, especially like luxury SUVs, you know, exotics too. You know, like a lot of cars that people probably shouldn't have bought with the low interest rates and got approved for are starting to kind of like pop up. And I think that's like the first domino to fall. I don't know if it'll go to homes, right? Like, especially with like Homestead and everything like that. You know, Homestead's really strong here in Florida, like it is in other states, but people will always pay their mortgage first, right? But
well, one of my friends, he was looking for a Speedtail, and when he asked the company if there were any for sale, they had 4 for sale, which is like the most amount of Speedtails that have ever been on the market. So exotics, you know, if you're looking for an exotic, they're all plummeting right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good indicator. Matt Investor saying no one's buying cars. What's up, Bacon, Eggs, and Hash? He works for one of the big 3, and we're all laid off. Like one of the 3 automakers? Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that they allowed loans out for that, right? Like, salespeople in dealerships will just, you know, a lot of people make the mistake. They walk in and they're like, this is how much I can spend a month. And then they just increase the loan by 2 years, right? So I think a lot of people are getting underwater on these cars.
Yeah, I mean, I heard King talk about it on one of his streams, so I don't think he'll care. But when I was with him in Nashville and he showed me what his interest rate was on his car, and I just pull out the loan calculator, and I showed him how much he's going to pay in interest over that term. It was something crazy, like $20,000 or $18,000 worth of interest. Where if you can pay it off, you're never going to make that much on the money that you're using to pay it off in the short term. So, I mean, you don't lose that much when you go to sell your car because you didn't pay an extra $18,000 to own your car. There's a lot of things you look at when you buy that. But even in my neighborhood, I've had 2 of my neighbors text me and tell me that they were laid off, and if I hear of any jobs opening up or anything like that. So it's definitely starting to hit in a lot of neighborhoods, no matter the class.
Yeah, because the cost now, I see kind of on both sides, right? Like a lot of they've always had the same like formula. I don't know what the formula is, but it's like you make this much a year, this is what your car payment should be, right? It's like tale as old as time. But now it's difficult to find a car that fits that. You know what I mean? Because salaries haven't really matched.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what gets a lot of people are like these amortization schedules. And here I'll do like what's an auto loan rate now? Like 7-8%?
Now they're down to like 5.7 or average you'll probably say 6%.
6. Yeah, $60,000 loan on a new car with 6% is $1,160 a month. That's brutal. But then, if you click the amortization schedule, that's where you're paying a ton of interest. You know what I mean? And they front load the interest on these loans, and that's why I think so many people get underwater. People think that their $1,160 is going to it's not a home, but going towards the principal on these loans, and it's not. And they just kind of get eaten alive because you're buying such a depreciating asset, and then you're paying all of the interest on the loan at the same time. It's like the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, and and that's so right now, when I first got into cars, or I was able to buy like my first really nice car, it was the longest terms that they offered were 8 years, and that's for like exotics. Now you can go to Lamborghini at Palm Beach and they'll give you a 15-year loan on a car. It's insane. The people that are buying them, it's like they have no clue what's going to happen in like the next month.
Yeah,
it's just insane.
Yeah, and that's the thing is a lot of people are walking in these dealerships and they like I said they go in with how much they can afford a month and they just increase the loan rate, and then you're just increasing the amount of interest you're paying because the term is longer, and then you're paying more interest in the beginning. It's
right now when we went to go buy the last truck, they offered 8-year terms, and it's like, I don't want 8 years, I just want 4.
Yeah,
and they look at you like you're crazy, and it's like, well,
they're like, well, you can get a more expensive truck and get a longer loan. Like, what are you doing? Only doing 4 years? Like, you're crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's nuts. Techman Ty is saying 100K trucks, 60K SUVs, 30K sedans. People are poor. 500 a month up for a car. No thanks. I know that's the thing. It's always like a really big bite to I'm not good with words tonight. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Dealership lots are full. Nobody's buying. I noticed that too. It's when I got my truck.
One of the big key indicators is CarMax. You go there if the lot's empty, it's a good car market. If the lot's full, it's a bad car market. And right now, every CarMax is overpiled. Like the cars are flowing from inside their sales area out to the visitor parking area.
Yeah. Yeah, the inventory is really, really high. I got my truck in 2018, pre-COVID obviously and stuff like that. And I remember like to get to my truck, it was just an F-150. They had to move like 4 trucks. That's how tight the parking lot was. It was insane. I remember being with the sales guy. I'm like, you guys must be dying to get these things like sold. And they didn't like me because it's not funny to them. But in COVID, it was like the opposite, right? Everyone was paying like ADM, like additional dealer markup, and there was like this huge squeeze there. And I think that's where everyone, I mean, what is it, 2024? Yeah, 3 years, like these loans are starting to, that these people took are, they're definitely underwater on these cars from 3 years ago with these 6, 7, 8 year loans. I'm starting to see the dealerships getting full though. The more I'm driving around, and we've been looking for a car for my fiance, an SUV. And I've just been checking every month, like the incentives, right? Like on Edmunds. And we started looking probably about 6 months ago, and there was none. There was like, MSRP is like the best you're going to get. Now it's like, oh, well, it's 4,000 off and 0 interest for 60 months, like 0% APR over 6 months. It's like, okay, well, that's quite a steep difference in 6 months. And I was like excited. I'm like, let's see what it is in 6 months from now. So,
and, it sucks for that last person that bought that last SUV when everything was dumb high, and now they're instantly 30,000 in debt.
Yeah, that's
I like what Bacon, Eggs, and Hash said. Keeping people in it just disappeared. Keeping people in debt equals slaves with no chains. There was this show called Yellowstone, and it was, it's based back when people rode horses, but they go into this new town and they have electricity, and they're showing everyone that, like, now you just pay the electric company, and now your washer and dryer run itself, and like you don't have to clean your clothes. And their biggest question is, well, then I'll never own anything. I'll always have to be paying this person.
Yeah.
And it's just that then all of a sudden you become a slave, and now you're only working to keep the stuff you have versus actually just being able to own something and not have to keep paying for it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's very true. I think Albert Einstein said next to the, I don't know, was it the theory of relativity or something? Next to that, the second most important equation is compounded interest. And, if you're not in debt, compounded interest will be your best friend, right? Like if you have money in the S&P and you just leave it there for 30 years, I mean, that's kind of what a 401k is, right? It kind of like contributing to it, and it's compounded interest. But on the other end, if you have a credit card and these high interest loans, then it's going to just hurt you just as much as it can help you. And, some people, get in unfortunate situations, and they, you end up paying, not only do you have a bunch of debt, but you're paying basically a car payment every month just to keep the debt. And you know what I mean? And then, then your payments aren't even equaling the monthly payment. It can be bad. And I think there's a lot of people in that position now in the economy where, these monthly payments are just, they're not keeping up with salaries. And I think that's a big problem. But Mr. Max Voltage, so happy to have both my cars paid off. Hoping they will both last a few more years. Yeah, I agree, Max. Luckily, my truck is paid off, and I love that thing. I just every time I'm driving it, I'm just like, I'm so excited. Like it's what's crazy too is I went to where was I? I think it was the last time when I was in Kansas. I rented like a SUV out there. It was a little bit cheaper, but it was or no, I rented where was I? It was Missouri. So this was a couple months ago, but I rented an F-150, and it was like a 2024 F-150, and it was like the same trim that I have, like an XLT, and mine's from 2018, and it was almost identical to the car, except a little bit bigger of a screen, and it doesn't have 100,000 miles on it, but it was very, very similar, right? And that trim costs like 60 grand now, like 55 to 60K, whereas I got mine out the door in 2018 for 33. Like the same trim, and it's like I think it's probably, even with 100,000 miles, my car's maybe it's still worth it, at least 20, probably more. But it's just it's nuts to see. So that's not just gradual inflation. You know what I mean? When everything is twice as expensive. But best way to buy a car is buy it on the dealer auction. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people doing that. I know a lot of people down here that do that, actually. Don't buy a car in the lot. Make them buy a car from the auction, then lowball them. Yeah, I guess if you're not like particular on exactly like what trim, what options, and everything like that, then it's good. If you could walk in and you're just like not silver, Like that's not the color I want. I don't care what trim, what it is. I mean, it'll probably be easier to find a deal, you know. Techmantai, young people everywhere.
Used Teslas you can get really cheap now, like 2021, 2022. The CarMax won't even accept Teslas anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw them for like 20 grand, 18, 20 grand. You can pick them up for. It's I guess it's assuming that the battery is going to go bad or something. EVs just seem to appreciate
the warranty on them is 130,000 miles or 8 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't. You could buy it, you'll be fine. I mean, you might spend $3 grand a year on other random stuff that goes bad, but the motors and the battery are warranted.
Yeah, and you get like cheap electric. You get regenerative braking, right? Regenerative braking, I think.
Yeah. Well, FP&L. If you live somewhere where there's FP&L, it's $31 a month for unlimited charging at your house.
Yeah.
So.
Mad Investor, 401k is killing it, up 21% this year. Yeah, market's been doing good. No complaints. It's doing good until it's not, right? Screw investing in 401k. I'm all in on NFTs. Yeah. It's
I don't think so.
U.S. economy is on 36 trillion leverage debt. Yeah, it's concerning, but then I also remember that we have a lot of aircraft carriers.
So Elon gets in office.
Yeah. What would he mentioned something? What he's going to hold a position for?
I don't remember which position it is, what it's called, but it's the one like he wants to create a group that manages all the money that goes in and out of America.
Yeah, I'm sure Congress will love that. Yeah. Both sides of the aisle will be very happy about that.
I mean, it painted such a target on them from every angle. Every single company. Like I know someone that builds fireplaces for the government.
Fireplaces for the government?
Yeah. He he doesn't do bad, but it's contractors like that are he's gonna just knock off because there's no reason you should pay this much for a fireplace. But because that's how they move money around, and it's sad and it's true, but it's that's why all these contractors, everybody is terrified of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean I agree 100%. I saw this one video of, I don't know if it was Congress or the Senate or whatever, but there's a politician that was holding like a Ziploc bag of like, must have been like 30 bolts in it, like just normal bolts, and it was like, I think the government got charged like 60 grand for it or something. It's like something, I know it has to be like to spec, right? Like all the military stuff has to be like, the tolerances are tighter and everything, but 60 grand for like a bag of bolts is like hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, they even said it in the movie Independence Day, the first one, when they go into Area 51 and the dad is like, "You don't think they pay $30,000 for a toilet, do you?"
Yeah,
the money's going somewhere else.
Yeah. Pentagon's like, no, we just lost a couple $100 billion. You don't know where it went.
Yeah.
Department of Government Efficiency, Doge. Yeah, that's kind of. I don't know if that we'll ever see. I don't think the word government and efficiency is legally allowed to be in the same sentence. But we will see. Mindset: if I don't spend the money this year, it will be gone. Yeah. That's kind of like what budgets, right? Like companies will set budgets for departments, and if the department goes under, under the budget, instead of $2 grand, they spend $1,000. The next year, the finance people will look at that and be like, "Wow, we only have to budget $1,000 this year." So it's. I think there was an episode of The Office on that, where they were going to cut it or something, so they had to buy stuff right at the end or something.
Well, I think he's saying the opposite, that people have the mindset that if they don't spend the money this year, that it's going to be gone. Like no one's saving money anymore.
Oh yeah, that too. As I don't spend the money this year, yeah. And also, like I guess for businesses and individuals, especially with like a lot of the all of us here, like we spend money on mining equipment and AI equipment and all this other stuff. And at the end of the year, you try to do some planning, right? You're like, okay, well, I might owe some taxes, so I'm going to buy some equipment and cancel it out. And people have probably seen a million Instagram reels of this, right? Where it's like, oh, well, I have a G-Wagon so that I don't pay taxes. But it's like,
Yeah.
you're still, you're still buying stuff, right? Whereas sometimes it's better, in my opinion, to just take it off the table, right? You're going to pay taxes on it, but every year you don't want to be just spending it just to spend it. Let's see, just buy crypto. Yeah, exactly. You sleep well at night with all my Caspa meme coins. Daily donut deliveries are an investment. Yeah.
I mean, the crypto investing, like, to me, it's a good way to take your money and not pay taxes. So if I'm in the black, 100,000 for the year or something, or I've made way too much for the year, which is, it sounds great, but if you're trying to get away from taxes, you can start a crypto company, buy a bunch of Bitcoin miners that are, able to make money, and then you're buying the machines, so you have all that cost. You're paying the electric every month. You have that cost, and then in the meantime, the Bitcoin's going into an account that you don't have to pay taxes on until you sell. So, I mean, it seems like almost like a Roth IRA that you're pumping all this money in, and you're hopefully getting more out of it in return, but you're not paying the 23% tax on it.
Well, technically, it's captured as income right when it's paid out from the pool, but yeah, I mean, there's different ways to do it, right? Like, I think the equipment, I think a lot of people do that, right? Like, everyone here has done that, right? Like, we buy equipment at the end of the year, and then we use it to generate more income, right? And I think that's a huge advantage that a lot of people do take advantage of with all of this.
Well, you can write off the electric as well, can't you?
Yeah.
As a cost of doing business.
It's just as you mine, right? Like, if it hits, as soon as you get payout from the pool, that's like realized income. So that's what's confusing kind of about crypto is you have kind of like, to get crypto to fiat, or to get mining income to fiat, there's two taxable events. It's like the time that you're paid out from the pool. So like at midnight every day, whatever that is equal to USD, that's what your income is. You're taxed at that level. And then you're taxed a gain or loss from that point to when you sell it to fiat. So if you just say it's $10,000 a day, which I wish, $10,000 a day, and then you wait one day to sell it, and then the next day it's $12,000. You're taxed ordinary income on the 10 grand, and then you're taxed short-term
gains,
short-term capital gains on $2,000. And that's why I think a lot of people take advantage of the long-term capital gains with Bitcoin. I know I have in the past, but just
but you can use you could depreciate the machines and use the electrical cost to offset the taxes on the pool income.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly, and I think that's it's always such like an individual like situation on how to approach it, right? Like, if you, like you said, if you're in the black 100K for the year, you can either take that off the table and you're gonna be taxed on it, right? And then you have it in fiat, or you can reinvest it into something and do it, which in that, like, if you're between the two options, right? You're like, okay, I can take the 100K, get taxed on it, 35%, I'm gonna have 65K, or you can buy equipment and depreciate it. Your actual like cost of that equipment, your like cost of it is going to be lower if you invest, because you're going to eat 35K in tax, right? So you have to take that into kind of consideration, is like the equipment will be cheaper. If you're spending 100 grand on equipment, it's really like spending 65 on it if you're between the two options. And again, it's like, every situation is so unique, right?
So I guess Homebrew has a good comment. Like, I mean, you deal with taxes more than I do. So if you're mining something that's a spec coin and it has no cost or no actual value, and then it goes up in value, you don't pay taxes on that first. deposit from the pool?
No, technically if you're spec mining, but in order to take advantage of taxable tax benefits, you have to go into something. And this would be a good question, right? Like, this is a great question. And it'd be interesting to see how taxing agencies would do this, because you're spec mining. The taxing agencies, the IRS, would argue that this is like a hobby because it's speculative, right? You're doing it for fun type thing. If you're doing it as a business, that's what the user would argue, is like, hey, I'm doing this because this coin's going to 100x and I'm going to make a killing on it, right? If you're claiming it as a business, I wouldn't call it spec mining. I would call it adventurous mining or something. But it's then your basis would be zero in the coin, right? So you're mining it, you have no income from it, you have all losses. But again, it's not a hobby if you're going into it as a business mindset, because you know this coin is going to 100x, right? You just know it. It's going to. Then your basis is going to be zero, and then you're going to have either short-term or long-term capital gains, right? If it's over a year, then it's going to be long-term. And you could do the FIFO method, first in, first out. So if you're mining and every day you're getting a payout, and you mine over a year and a half, just say at the end of the year and a half, your long-term capital gains, if you sell all of it, you're going to have a year of long-term capital gains, a year and 1 day, and then you're going to have 6 months of short-term capital gains. And you could do the FIFO, again, the first in, first out method. So all the original, and that's what you want, right? Because it's more than likely that the first year, your basis is going to be the lowest and your sale price is going to be the highest. So you're going to have the most income that's taxed to be long term, which is, what is it, 22%? I can't remember what long term capital gains are, but it's lower than ordinary income, right? So yeah, that's how it would look in this situation. But again, like, it's the hobby loss rule with the IRS. Like, you can't go into it as a hobby. You can't just be like, oh, this is just fun and games. Like, if I make something great, if I don't, I just love doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be, you have to go into it with the idea that it's for profit. So again, it's good to just keep records of everything. That's kind of what I always tell someone.
Sound like a tax accountant.
Yeah. Is this financial advice? NTL crypto? Yes, everything on here is strict financial advice. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know even what disclaimers. I think I have a disclaimer in the comment section that says, I know everyone reads that. Mr. Max Voltage, I know you can expense GPUs as it's considered computer equipment, but can you expense ASICs, or do you have to depreciate them? ASICs are computer equipment too. I mean, anything that turns on with a fan on it that has a chip in it is computer equipment in my eyes. But yeah, no, you don't. Okay, so all the equipment like ASICs or GPUs, those you can depreciate them, but you can do special depreciation on them. So all your, like, for instance, you can have all your GPUs as one line item, all your ASICs as one line item. Just say you're doing like 5-year like equipment on it, depreciation. Depending on your taxable thing, like if you're in the black a lot that year and you have 50K of gain, you can, instead of taking 1/5 straight line depreciation, 20% of the equipment value in year one, you can do, it's called section 179. I think section 179, which is basically front loading the depreciation, special depreciation, and you could take it all this year instead of spreading it out. So if you don't have a lot of gain in year 0, then you might want to depreciate the equipment, but you got to choose at that point, right? What you want to do. So, and this is, again, all financial advice for everyone. I'm just kidding. I'm going to get banned from YouTube eventually. Wait for price appreciation, then take payment from the pool. I don't know. That's, again, King, that's like, I guess there could be an argument for both sides, right? Like, there could be an argument that you have ordinary income, or you have a taxable event every time there's a block. There hasn't been really any, from what I've seen, no case law or any regulatory authority that's like gotten this far. You know what I mean? Because they're all like, half of Congress is on life support. So like, there's no rules out there for this. So there could be arguments on both sides, right? It's going to take, a regulatory authority to kind of, put a target on someone's back for this to kind of be fought out, I guess you could say, right? Because it could be every block could be it, or every time you're paid out from the pool, because that's when you take ownership of it. So I don't know. There's a lot that's still out there. I know crypto's been around for a while, but this is very early for, the people in Congress don't even know what an iPhone is. So they're probably 20 years from figuring this part out. If you sell when you get paid out, there is no capital gains. Yeah, but that's another thing. I could go on forever about this. It has to be like right away, right? Because even if it's 10 minutes, that's still technically a short-term capital gain. It's like, think of it like buying a stock, right? I know there's wash sale rules and all that with stocks, which that's just for stocks, but we don't have that for crypto. But what if you buy Bitcoin and then 10 minutes later you sell it and you have a gain? But short term is just ordinary income, right? So I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm just a pizza lawyer. But can take all deduction at once or depreciate over what you say their lifespan. Yeah. Take high payouts for that reason. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, just keep. I think it's good for anyone to just keep records of what they're doing, right? Because as long as you're not avoiding tax and you're trying to pay taxes to the government, I think the government should be thankful for every dollar they get. Honestly, I think that they should walk up like this to me every year, just like this, and I could hand it to them. But it's good to keep a record of how you're doing it, right? Because there is no authority, there's no guide on how to properly do this. You know what I mean? They have guidance, Max, but it's not as deep. It's very difficult for mining. You know what I mean? So NTL, I like the way Crypto Frank does taxes. Yeah, it's again, you're not avoiding taxes. You're just tax planning, and everyone's tax benefit or tax situation is different. It's always unique to your situation, and there's a lot of times there's not a right answer, right? There's not a right answer. Should you take the 50 grand that you're up this year and pay taxes on it and just put it in your bank account and earn negative money because of interest rates, or should you reinvest it? It's kind of like a personal question on what you should do.
I wonder if the IRS is behind on this stuff because they didn't want to give crypto any acknowledgement.
The IRS is severely understaffed.
Well, yeah,
just they have no one. You know what I mean? I don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah, because they canceled that big 18,000 hirings or something like that, didn't they? And then at some point they were saying that IRS agents can carry weapons now when they go to your home or things like that.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with IRS is a lot of these guys are accountants, right? And a lot of them are going to be CPAs, have a lot of experience. So they're going to go work at the IRS for the lawyers do this, right? They'll go work for the government for a couple of years, get whatever schooling paid for, and do all of that, get experience, and then they're going to go into to private firms. They're going to put on their resume, hey, I worked at the dumpster fire for 5 years, and I learned a whole lot of stuff, and I want to get paid, more for my time. You know what I mean? I don't think there's many people that are I'm going to take half the pay that I can get instead of going to an accounting firm and get paid by the government and have to deal with all this stuff. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a whole lot of them. But maybe. Have an intermediary wallet that is your pool. Have your actual pool pay your intermediary pool, then pay your actual wallet. Then you want to be the pool. Probably not financial advice. Yeah, like I said, just keep track. Just keep track. No wash sale rule for crypto yet. Yeah, I know there were people doing some loopholes with that. What about the tax avoidance booth in Nashville? Secret IRS stakeout. Yeah, I would be afraid of just being their client because eventually they're going to get audited, right? There's going to be something that happens.
I don't know the staff they had there. I would be their client every year.
Yeah, they you don't want your name to be on their books, but. Yeah, I don't think they're an actual firm. I don't think they're a CPA firm or a law firm.
I don't think so either.
I think that they are a. They're
I thought
a firm.
They were based in America.
Yeah, they're based in what are those islands called where all the crypto places are going? I don't know. They just hired 87,000 IRS agents and armed them all.
I
Really?
heard that was I heard that was canceled though. I mean I could be wrong, but because they were saying they're going to do that with the Inflation Reduction Act. But from what
IRS budget and workforce. Here we go. We're gonna do this, and then we're probably gonna call it a night after the IRS stuff, just because I'm probably on a list now. I'm just kidding. Can you guys see this? Here we go. Okay, so full-time equivalent positions realized fiscal years. The IRS. So they have less than what they had in 2014. God, they went really down. See, I don't want to say I stopped practicing law, because I dabble every now and then. I do my continued learning. I take it very seriously. But it was right about that dip, like when I was doing a lot of federal stuff. And so maybe it's back up. I don't know. But their spending is going up, their operational costs, because it's government. It's never going to go down, really. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, you can't call them. You get something in the mail. From my experience, if you contest something in the mail, it's like it takes so much time. And then the IRS also has a statute of limitations, but I don't know. It has been a while, but I can't remember what it is. But they're kind of on the, like, once they notify you of something, they're kind of on a clock, right? I'm not going to go into too depth just because I don't know, but there's some kind of clock that they go on, and they have to kind of make a decision relatively faster than what the government moves at. We'll put it that way. But Shark Farmer, their ex-Secret Service. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Non-KYC works. Yeah, know your customer. I don't know. That's a whole different conversation with KYC. I think anyone in the U.S. should have some kind of KYC. I'm not a proponent of it. In an ideal world, we wouldn't have to. But as a company, to protect yourself, I think so. Now you're on a list, not before. I don't know, Vinny Del Greco. I don't know. It would be interesting to see. I still get on planes, though, so it can't be too bad, right? But yeah, I mean, interesting stuff. I could talk about taxes for a while, and business and stuff. I made a couple videos on it, but they're grueling, to say the least. But again, everyone should consult a tax professional and get some tax advice for your situation, because situations are so unique. I can't emphasize that enough. There's no right answer. It's kind of like, here is the statement of facts, and you have to make a decision. But we'll finish on this one, Max, because this one looks. I saw Biden in there, so it gets me excited. In May 2021, the Biden administration approved hiring 87,000 new IRS employees by 2031. 10 years. Like, who even makes a plan for 10?
Yeah, but that was canceled.
Yeah. The majority are filling expected vacancies. Expected vacancies. You mean the people that's what I'm talking about. They go work there for like 4 years, and then they get experience, and then all these accounting firms that are doing stuff like this, especially like forensic accounting and stuff like that, like they love that experience. It's great experience. So you just eat it for 4 years out of school. You work at the IRS, and then you get experience, and then you leave. Like, I'm not saying that's everyone at the IRS, but it's, I think, a vast majority. I see it a lot in the legal field. People go work for, in the public sector, and they get experience, and it's great experience, and then they get an offer in private, and they switch over. That's no excuse, Max. We don't need more IRS. Yeah, all taxes are crimes. Yeah, abolish the IRS, the ATF. Yeah, we know our audience here. We're all pro America here. But yeah, I think that's everything. Frank, you got anything else?
No.
All right, Max. One more. Well, last one, Max, because you're tagging me. Friend's wife worked at the IRS for a long time, and she loved it, but received very lucrative offers. Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's like your passion and your love can only go so far when you have other offers that are like, hey, we'll give you. You're not going to be as passionate about it, but you'll be passionate about all the other stuff that you'll buy with the extra money, right? You'll be very passionate about, all your hobbies. But I think that's everything. But I appreciate everyone watching. Thanks, Frank, for coming on tonight. And
no problem.
we'll keep talking about taxes. I know everyone loves it. So, but hope everyone has a good night, and we'll see you guys next week on Dave's channel. Again, he was busy tonight, but he says hi to everyone, and we will be on his channel next week. So I hope everyone has a great Wednesday and a great rest of their weekend. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.